Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Transformation Show. I'm Durva Gandhi, your host for this Global Tele Summit. My mission is to inspire you by example to live in your highest potential, emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. Join me and master healers from around the world on this space as we transform lives. The mission of the Transformation Show is to transform the vibrations on the planet by transforming 1 million lives. Our guest speaker, Aurora Juliana Ariel, was awakened in her teens to a planetary consciousness that inspired her mission and dedicated her life to the healing and advancement of humanity. At that young age, she received an extraordinary divine sponsorship that helped guide her destiny, giving her a vast body of knowledge, deep understanding of global conditions, their underlying causes and remedies, and an exceptional healing ability that has resulted in countless transformed lives since she was 16. If you are ready to bring in the future unveiled, end the reign of darkness, birth an age of light in your life, be sure to stay on this call. Here's what you will experience on this powerful call today. Insights, healing, release from human matrices, patterns, programs, beliefs, positive changes in all areas of your life, tools to help accelerate self-actualization, soul advancement, freedom, enlightenment, and peace, and highest destiny potential. The free downloadable gift link will be announced on the call, especially for the Transformation Show listeners. Aurora has also a very, very special divine healing activation and transmission from the future realms of light, which we will be doing towards the end of the call. So stay tuned for the group process. And we will also be taking live callers who'd like help from Aurora working with her one-on-one. So if you haven't already, press star 2 to raise your hand or type in your question with your name and city in the Q&A box. Let's now welcome Aurora to the call. Hi, Aurora.
Aloha, Durva, and everybody present. I'm tuning in to all of you, and I was listening to that beautiful song. I'd love to know who that was. It brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, that was me singing away. That was a prayer, a Sanskrit prayer, Aurora, and I'm touched that it touched you.
Oh, very much. Tears were flowing, and I was tapping into everyone around the world that's tuning in, and even could feel people that will come in on the replays and all the souls that you're gathering, Durva, in your beautiful mission here. I'm so grateful to be a part of it today. Thank you so much.
Oh, and thank you for the work you do, Aurora, and, for the amazing, you have such an amazing healing background. At 16, you were, brought into this. So it's literally been a life of, miracles that you've created since. What an amazing, amazing life. I mean, and, we can't wait to get to people probably want to experience the energies and, have a feel for your work. And, when did you first know that you were heading, into a positive rather than disastrous future?
Yes, well, when I started getting awakened, we were even had that potential. It's kind of funny, but I always say that I was raised by Barbie and Ken in Malibu, and I don't know if you know about those dolls, and all the girls in America grew up on with their Barbie dolls. And my parents were just really sweet, yet I never in my whole childhood heard anything about anything, and so I emerged out at 16, at 15 really, and I wanted to experience the world, and I was drawn on a sacred path, and that led me to sacred sites and Indian reservations and sacred, shamans and people and places all over the world, and on a mystic path that I never heard about and no one had ever spoken about. And that's when I also tapped into all the suffering in this world, and I was awakened to my destiny to be a vessel of healing and light to the planet. And I didn't quite know what that was because I had never heard about such a thing, but I knew that I just needed to follow my inner self unfailingly. And I could say all these years on the unconventional path and the amazing, I guess, miraculous life I lived as well, I've often wished I had been born in India. And I was actually telling my youngest son that the other day, that, you know, if I had been born in India, they would have understood me. But here I am in the Western world, a mystic on a sacred path with a connection to the divine realms, where, like, pretty much I think everyone in India has that connectedness to the divine ones and knows who they are. And I've had to do all this in the Western world without any kind of guidance from that young age except from the divine realm. So, and then eventually some master teachers and people that were supportive and like-minded eventually.
Wow, what a fun journey, you know. But I must tell you that even in India, it seems, you know, it's only when you're in the spiritual realm you still only get, you know, you get your inputs and your guidance from those realms, not from the people around who won't understand what's going on for you, because though they are connected, not everyone has this deep calling to live their own, you know, sort of live in this entire, you know, live in this reality. So those, even there, you'd find yourself out of, you know, I did for many, many years. And I was
really, that's shattering my belief around it. I mean, I've often thought if I was just on this crazy mystic journey over there and had to sit for a year under a Bodhi tree, people would come and feed me. You know, no one would criticize me and make me wrong or look at me like, wow, you're not successful. You're not making tons of money, you know.
Well, you know, but I think, if, you know, it's all like that even in India, where there's the whole consumerism, and, you know, in the cities, it's still as bad as, you know, it is here everywhere in the West. I think it's all, you know, when you're on that spiritual path, you fear that other people are going to judge you for being who you are, and not accept you because you're so different, or you're so not like the rest, or don't fit in. And I think that's probably, you know, but that's true anywhere in the world. You know, I don't think I felt any different, even though I lived in India. I had to literally, I hid my, you know, my light, and I was literally, you know, not let anyone else see me as that, and because that would scare, you know, that would really, that was my best kept secret. I wouldn't really tell anybody about my spiritual connection, or the fact that, you know, that I'm just enough to say I'm spiritual, but not really anymore, reveal anymore to anyone.
I was trying to hide too, but all you guys keep inviting me on these telesummits, and then you want me to reveal and just my total mystic side and get these global healings. So I had to do that in front of the world, and it's hilarious because I am like a person that loves to be in retreat and incognito, and don't really care for fanfare and, you know, fame.
You know, you sound like, I mean, I, you know, much as you, I feel exactly like that. I feel like, oh my God, you know, I'm so much in my own space, though I'll seem on the external, you know, we look like we are doing so much out there, but we desire to, you know, we long to kind of go back into that and retreat in withdraw all our senses back into our
exactly.
center.
Exactly.
All
it's
that.
a weird dichotomy, you know, to be a mystic who revels in quiet sanctuary away from the world, who's pulled repeatedly out to the world, and then need to say things on the airwaves that people, a lot of the portion of humanity would just think is totally crazy, you know.
Oh, this was so fun. I mean, it's amazing how, you know, all journeys, everyone, probably people on this call can relate to this, because, you know, all my, you know, all the audiences on our call are very spiritually advanced and are mostly have had similar experiences, so I'm sure they could relate to this. But my next question to you was, what was the information you received from your future self in 1999 that was a message for us all?
Yeah, it was so incredible, Durva. It was so unexpected because I was gearing up on this vast humanitarian project. And I was a pretty amped up girl, humanitarian, and so I have tended to overamp at times, like take a lot on and think that I can do it all, and then I have to be in my superhuman self to pull it off, and I've been able to pull it off a lot, but that was one of those time periods, and out of the blue I get this visitation from my future self. She was in 2027. And she said that things were about to take off, that all my preparation on this humanitarian project was about to come into fruition. I would have the right meetings and the funding and everything. I'd be swept away in it. And she said once I got swept away in it, I would be riding that wave all the way to 2027, and I would believe that that was the highest divine plan for my soul and my destiny because of all the synchronicities and how it would all come together. And I was really curious, and she said, I want to take you to see it. And so we went up to 2027, and I was appalled. I had spent all those years on the phone and businessy, and I'm a very creative girl and a mystic girl, and I do business too to make this all available to everyone. Mm-hmm. However, it's not my total love, like I want to live that night and day. Mm-hmm. And here was to fulfill all that. I was just had to be like a workaholic person all the years, and I get to 2027. I'm heading 7 trusts and all these humanitarian things, and all that I've given and all that I've done has barely made a little drop in planetary change. It was like shocking. And she told me that a lot of souls on Earth right now have similar momentums, that because of the fall of Lemuria and the records in us in Atlantis of these great losses, it's like we have this super desire to fix it and put the world back to how it was into that perfection. And we've also come in with the mission in this time, encoded in our hearts, to help transform the world. So with these two dual momentums going on, she said it made everyone so driven into workaholics, night and day, overtaxed, overstressed, overworked, and nobody living in the new vibration and the new consciousness, because it was these projects that everyone felt were the most important. And she was showing me how all of our projects together in 2027 under that momentum hadn't really changed the world all that much. And I just sat there like, oh my gosh. And so the next few days I spent going up and down that timeline because she had opened it up for me, and I saw how my relationships fell to the wayside. I wasn't having very much fun, in my own life. It wasn't like that heaven on earth life experience that I now realize we're here to anchor. And so I saw that a million projects won't change the world if our consciousness hasn't shifted, if our inner reality is not living in our true authentic selves, that illumined spirit that we are, if we're all in the human self, wearing ourselves out, doing human projects, no matter how humanitarian and wonderful, that's not going to equate to the transformed world we came to bring forward. So I finally told her, I said, okay, what would my life look like if I didn't go on this path, and I got this other imaging of a really blessed life, a life where I had more time and spaciousness, where I was transforming, where wonderful projects were, music, books, audios, all the things that I bring forward, healing, would come out gracefully, timed to have my relationships flourishing, to take care of my body, to have quiet retreat time, and enjoy my home, my beautiful temple home, and nature adventures, and even love. Yeah, love just wasn't in the equation. And so I was like, oh no, I want that. I don't want this other one. But I was like this little person with 1,000 white stallions galloping towards a future I no longer wanted. And I was just in shock, standing there going, no, I don't want that future. And all those driving horses represented what was happening in my psyche, all these human project-oriented momentums, workaholism, can't stop, the planet's in disaster, we have to save it, save everybody, like all of these human ideas and momentums and fears and projects, like you have to go night and day because there's so much to do and accomplish, and the whole world's a mess, so we got to like never have a moment, barely get our dinner in. And so I started doing my sacred alchemy that I always do. It's the inner process I developed, and later came out as TheQuest 7 Steps as part of the gift you guys all get for free. And it really has been my saving grace. It's helped me every step of the way since I was 16 to be transforming these human beliefs and limitations and programs and momentums, and keep refining myself to be in my authentic self most of the time and not be driven by these things. And so it's been really an amazing path and journey of self-discovery through this inner work and awakening. And what it does is it transforms all of this stuff, which I'm going to gift you all with a sacred alchemy at the end here, and you'll all experience it, and callers too, personally. And so I started healing those 1,000 stallions of human momentums and beliefs and programs, and I transformed it all. And in that moment, because it took a few days to do, it was so huge, so many patterns, so many beliefs, so much sorrow over loss, Lemuria and the catastrophes, so many fears over our future and what could take place here. So it took a big clearing, a lot of clearings. And I finally cleared through, and it was like taking a complete right turn on my path, and I was in a new future. And everything went a more blessed way for me. And more I realized that our most important thing we could all be doing is to keep transforming the human programs so our beautiful spirit rises in us, and that we live in our authentic selves most of the time while masterfully cleaning up and clearing, and that we allow that spirit within that is connected with the universal divine presence, that is in alignment with the highest destiny potential for us and for all humanity in this world, that we live in alignment with that, which is then we are vessels of this greater divine plan, and miracles and magic take place, and we don't have to wear ourselves out and kill ourselves so our children have a better future. We get to be the way showers and live in that reality now, even while there's still a lot to clean up in ourselves, and then that outer reflection on our planet.
Wow, that was so awesome. It's almost like an insight about everybody's lives. I think everybody could relate to what you just said. And, so tell us what you saw when you went into the future in 2012. What was the highest probable future at that time?
A much happier future, because I think so many of us, the momentum of our inner work, our transformation, our alignment with the higher divine plan for our lives, all the cleansing, the purification, and our beautiful offerings for humanity. By 2012, that momentum of our transfiguration was really causing a powerful transformation beyond what anyone could imagine our future could be. And so by November, I was kind of tired of hearing all these experts on the airwaves of the world talking about impending doom and disaster. Of course, we've heard it all. I've heard it all since my teens. And yet I've known, and I was shown by all the divine visitations I'd had early on, that we were here to avert all that. So why should we all focus on it as if it's going to happen and behave like it is and help anchor it in? We're here to transmute that and move into a more glorious future. And by 2012, we're doing a fantastic job. So by November of 2012, I had just had it. I was like, if I hear one more doom and gloom scaring the poor people of this earth, I'll scream. It's just too much to scare everybody continually with all these dire potentials all the time, so that people are frightened and immobilized by it all and can't do their part because it's too overwhelming. So I was like, okay, I really want a remedy here because I've seen different. I'm just a little voice in the world, trying to let people know what I've seen, what I've been shown, what the divine ones speak of, what the visions I've had. And then I got divinely commissioned to go into the future. And I was so excited, and I was guided to do it under hypnosis so that my conscious self and my ideas about it and everything I believe I know about it would be quiet. And I could go in fresh and clean and let my superconscious self, my higher self, and the divine ones show what's really true. What was the highest probability in 2012, in November 2012? What is going to take, what can take place because of it? And so I did that, and that guidance from the divine, from the higher realms, is where I went first, and then we went into the future. I saw 2014 and was hugely relieved that the world hadn't fallen apart like lots of prophecies. California was still intact in the U.S., and around the world we're still doing pretty good. And the amazing thing at 2014 was that we had exponentially changed this field, this holographic field, I call it, of Earth, this virtual reality experience, to more love, that the loving in our hearts and our capacity of loving had increased, and that had literally raised the vibration of this planet. So I was very excited, and I got to go to 2020. And it was like we'd jump on this monorail-type, fast-moving, I guess, train, but it was like a sleek white, and we'd get into the next station, and it would have on an archway the year. And so we came to 2020, and it was like looking out from a vantage point. We could see all the planet, but also tune in to like America and different parts of the world and see different things. So a big overview and little minute views. So we were greeted by illumined ones in the future, and they're really excited to share. And they did say that my guide from the heavens, she told me in the beginning that what we're going to see and visit was the highest probability, because the major movement, the biggest movement and trend on planet Earth today is the movement of awakening souls rising into ever higher levels of their true authentic selves and their vibration, and bringing love into the field, and that by their transfiguration we're getting ever new futures are being formed, and these other future lines with all the disasters are dissolving. So as we rise and as we clear and as we're coming into these higher aspects of ourselves, and we are being that divinity in the physical earth, we keep redialing to ever new amazing futures. And by 2012, this was the future. And so everything was intact still, yet there had been so much transformation. It was astounding. the governments of the developing nations were really, well, they were the key, because it was through their awakening that a lot shifted socially, economically, and in everything, agriculture, everything, because they realized that the dire effects of taxing the people so much all the time, it was leading the planet into disasters, ever new disasters. But if they created programs that would help the people and support the people would flourish. And when they flourished, their higher natures and capacities, talents, and gifts would come forward. And they would bring their offerings into the world and make a huge difference. And by 2020, so many people were doing that. And there were wonderful parks and programs and positive things that people weren't being taxed and overburdened. And there was still some factions on the planet that were, still back in greed and avarice and the old consciousness. But for the most part, like Europe and America and Asia, some of these up-and-coming countries, as well as the strongest nations in the world, were really, and India's like that too, where all the education and all the advancement, all of a sudden it just breaks records in the exponential capability and capacity of what can occur when you finally get to that point in time where everybody just reaches more of their highest potentials. And so that was exciting. And then the final stop was 2033.
Oh, yeah, okay.
2033.
Wow. Okay.
And in 2033, I couldn't believe my eyes, Dura. People had finally gotten sick of being ill all the time from the denatured foods and the pesticides and the fluoride in the water and not eating healthy and the foods not having any vitality or life for the waters. And so there was a major movement in agriculture to bring forth advanced, positive, pure technologies that were able to enhance and feed and nourish the soils and the plants in a healthy, beneficial way. There was all new technology where right now our electromagnetic fields are detrimental to a lot of people, and fluorescent lights and some things like that, where our technologies just are not, they don't have a beneficent influence on our being. We all love having electricity, but at this point in time it's still primitive compared to where we are in 2033. In 2033, we have technologies that are unseen. We don't have power lines and all that mess. People have largely cleaned up everything, like making everything beautiful, painting the buildings, new architecture, beautiful gardens, lots of nature, beautiful buildings, and everything powered so that you have optimum temperature all the time. But not only that, even I saw these lampposts in the towns, these really picturesque towns, like really beautiful, all immaculate, no trash, no weird signs all over, just so gorgeous. And these lights had some kind of advanced solar power technology that was actually beneficent. So they radiated a high vibration that helped permeate the field and keep everyone in a high vibration. Now, back in 2012, I didn't really know what that meant, but coming to Sedona, and in these vortexes here are high metal, lots of metals in these mountains and crystals. And so these red rocks that we're surrounded in up here, they create this positive, upward spiraling a field of energy. And they call them the vortexes and healing vortexes. And it is a very healing, uplifting experience that you have more spiritual experiences, mystical experiences here. You're more tuned with your higher self here in the higher realms because of this field. So I saw how that, that beneficent field. I believe from my trek to Egypt that this is the kind of technology they had back then through the power plants that were the pyramids and other areas I saw, that they used crystals and metal and everything to create a frequency, a high frequency that you just feel really wonderful in. So just that shift helped the people so much. The airs, waters, everything got cleaned up. Inventions came forward, cures. People weren't getting sick anymore. A divine economy, I would call it. No one's poor. No one's lacking. Just tears were rolling from my eyes in 2033, Durga. I was in tears of joy and gratitude, and that's when the final weight came off my shoulders of that feeling like, oh my God, there's so much to do. We have to work night and day and overwork to help and fix it all. That's when I realized that we're all doing an amazing job and that all of us together are changing everything, and not one of us needs to wear out. We can all have faith and trust that we're all there. We are in the high millions now. The demographics I got with actual contact lists last year of a company that has a contact list is 400 million of us undergoing this transfiguration and awakening in consciousness and pouring our gifts into this world and creating a global renaissance like has never been seen, of every kind of cure and invention and modality and blessed thing to make the future better. And this is the future we're heading into.
Wow. I have tears in my eyes right now while you're saying this. This is so amazing that you have this vision from the future and that you're able to so beautifully describe it, in so much detail about the lampshades and the lights and all the, beautiful, the technology and the healing and health, and my goodness, it's sort of the economy. It's all amazing. I think to have that vision, and to be able to live with that, it takes, like you rightly said, it takes away, even by just listening, it takes away a huge load of, like I'm experiencing that, that burden going off. Like, it's already happening and it's already there. So
it's exciting to have experienced it, and I hope it is passing energetically to everyone, the transference, because this is where we're heading. And I think the biggest lesson and hurdle for me has been these human momentums that make you feel like it's all on your shoulders and you have to do it all and work night and day and be a workaholic to bring these wonderful projects, and that it's the projects that change the world. And what I've seen over and over is it's not the projects that change the world, it's our shift in consciousness that's doing it. And then naturally, when we're inspired and in our divine natures, we love just blessing the world with our beautiful art or music or book or, new programs or whatever comes through us. But if it's not coming from that divine flow of a divine inspiration under the greater divine plan, then it's a human project that's been initiated by human momentums and human beliefs, and it will fall short of the glory that wants to be manifest. So it really, I've often wondered, what if everybody in the world simultaneously we just stopped and took a big breath and did nothing for, maybe a day, and just reflected and meditated and came back in touch with our hearts and what does our heart want, and started following that. Like what is the inner calling? What makes us happy today? What would be fulfilling? What foods are those right foods to eat? Who would be great to connect with? And we were tuning in and aligning ourselves and being just one with this greater divine plan that can really bring all this forward in a twinkling of an eye in and through us, and is orchestrating this great divine plan magnificently when you see how much has been seeded in the earth now, how much has taken place since we arrived, how much we've all accomplished so far, and we're not even near done. And yet all is in and through us by that great divine hand that is focused on this high destiny path for us all.
Wow. Wow. And you've just released your 8th book, The Sacred Alchemist, Alchemical Keys to Ascension. Tell us how these keys can help us move quickly into a more enlightened era.
Yes, they're straight from the divine. They started coming in as I was inspired a few years ago to that was initiating the world tour, the Sacred Alchemist World Tour, and I've started in Peru, then now we've been to Egypt and Jordan and in Sedona, where I have the mastery intensives once or twice a year. And this year, going the Oracle Sacred Destiny Cruise in September through the ancient temples of Italy and Greece, and then Maui, the Mystic Maui one in February. So the divine ones, Serapis Bey and others, came forward and were downloading to me these keys. And they are so illuminating. So when I use them in the mastery intensives, they've only been for that up until summer solstice when the book released. It's been so illuminating. Number one, just to read a key, it's like you are transfigured. You are brought to a higher place in yourself, and things drop away and change occurs. They're changing just in themselves. And then there's principles and practice of the art of sacred alchemy and transforming the baser aspects of ourself into the gold of the true nature, which sacred alchemy has been my life's work in bringing this out for humanity. How to transform everything quickly, how to go from panic to peace in minutes, how to change our destiny path to ever higher potentials, and do global healings as we're healing ourselves. So these keys speak to all of that, and this spring I was inspired out of the blue that it needed to be a book now, and that more people were ready for such high teachings that you would get way in the past in the ancient mystery schools. And I'm sure people have heard of these mystery schools in Lemuria and Egypt and, in Greece and all that, and that had the sacred knowledge and taught the way of the transfiguration of self and the awakening to the full divinity and bringing that physical and changing the very molecules of our existence and world back to that divine perfection, keeping us youthful, alive, and a vessel of that higher divine plan. So it's power-packed, and it's not for everyone. I've had some people look at it, and they don't get it right now because they're not at that evolutionary point where they understand it. But even it sitting in their homes, the book will be doing its magic.
Yes. Why don't you tell us about your special offer, that you've got for us today? Because I think there are also the keys and codes inside there. So I think that will help people understand what they're going to get with these offers better. While you're speaking, that might perhaps help them better understand the offer that we've got. So Aurora's special offer can be found on the transformationshow.com/Aurora-Juliana-Ariel-PhD. And that's where you can look up the offers. Do you want to now, Aurora, tell us a little about them?
Yes, I would love to. Everything that I've been a vessel of has been co-created with the divine and the divine realms of light and my divine sponsors and the divine sponsors of this global healing mission. It's a 7-vehicle global healing mission with many different parts to it, like the Temple of Sacred Alchemy, everything bringing offerings to humanity. So this cornucopia of offerings. I was completely tuning in for all of you and who would show up for this show and what would be the most powerful alchemy and soul advancing package I could give you that was just perfect for you in this time point to accelerate you and get you ready for 2018, because this is a year of very big shifts and change. This is a year where so much gets left behind of the human self and the human programs, then this is a time when we have the opportunity to really rise and take a leap so that 2018 is beyond imagination, how glorious it is and awaits us. Yet we have to rise up to meet that future potential and the ones that I've spoke about. And this alchemy is really how to do it, to be ever on a pathway, which I call the ascension path, into greater aspects of your true authentic self. So all of these things supporting it. First of all, since 2 years ago, I was divinely commissioned to facilitate divine healing activations every month in these global healing forums. And there's been other times, and of course you're going to receive one today at the end of the show, where the divine ones come and they do amazing things, everything you need that your soul's ready for, that under the direction of your divine self can be done, all that can be released, all that can be healed, and you undergo a transfiguration each time you listen to them. And they're hugely powerful and life-changing. And so I've included, I like to give as much as I can, 7. And the reason why I included 7 is because you could use this whole package A, you could use it as a self-actualization program for yourself to accelerate your ascension and your soul advancement. And how you would do it is with these 7 divine healing activations, you could listen to one a day every week. And some people like to do it in the morning, some people like to do it at lunch, some people like right before they go to sleep. And so it will have its really powerful impacting shift in you that is even beyond the inner work we're doing. So we're all able to make a lot of headway through our inner work, but then the divine ones are coming in and they're cleansing our pineal, balancing our brain chemistry, which is essential. If you want to live in your authentic self, most often you have to have your brain chemistry balanced. And then they activate the pineal so that we are more in touch with and able to access our divine self in higher realms of light and be inspired and moved from that higher self. And then they're recoding the DNA, and I watch all these things month after month, so I've learned so much about the DNA that I never studied, of how we've had programs in there and sequenced in the DNA that are being cleansed in this time, that shortened the lifespan, that kept us kind of worker bees and not able to be abundant, especially if you're spiritual. A lot of beliefs and ideologies that form these programs and patterns, and over thousands and thousands of years. So it's undoing all that and recoding us with the divine codes. So there's divine codes, the immortality codes, abundance codes, and destiny codes, and all kinds of codes being released. So the first one is Ascension, the light activation by the planetary logos, Alpha and Omega, who are representatives of Father, Mother, God in the system of worlds, the 7 mighty Elohim and their divine complements, violet ray angels, and other divine ones in the realms of light. So they're not only working on you and your family. When you listen to it, it gives them entrance, the divine entrance, like you're opening the doorway and becoming a vessel of a greater healing for all beings, elementals, all sentient beings. And then the second one is Supreme Wealth Activation by Serapis Bey. If you don't know him, he was a master teacher at Luxor and the Hierarch of the Ascension Flame. He was in the Ascension Mystery School way back when, after the fall of Atlantis, and so he is assisting us to embrace wealth as our true blueprint. And this is really important because we can consciously feel abundant, yet we keep reaping financial demise or hardships or setbacks or constraint. And that's because of these belief systems and programs that this activation cleans out and helps clear the psyche and heal those subconscious aspects that are holding onto those beliefs from the past, from the spiritual, religious program, societal program, and all that. Cornucopia of Wealth activation by Queen Fiona. I feel very blessed to know the elementals are working on our behalf on this planet, and they're actually real. They just live in a higher density than we are. So a lot of people think they're a mythology, yet a lot of people see them, especially nowadays when people are awakening more and raising their vibration. Now you can start seeing them. And Queen Fiona is very amazing. This cornucopia of wealth activation was hugely life-changing for me, and floods of abundance started coming in easy, graceful ways. And I started coming into rarefied states of awareness that I had never reached before, of feeling how abundant I am, how wealthy I am, how wealthy we are in this world, what an abundant world this is. I know we all know that as a mental idea, but to feel it and live it is really a whole different experience. And that's what she helps with by activating the cornucopia of wealth and clearing the way for us to live a more vibrant, abundant life and have true wealth. True wealth is our birthright. Now, that doesn't mean we're all going to win the lottery. It just means we're going to feel abundant and wealthy. We're going to notice the sunsets. We're going to enjoy the birds singing. Our life is going to be rich and fruitful. We're going to enjoy our meals, our loved ones. We're going to live in an Eden, Edenic reality. And everyone knows you can be really wealthy and never see a sunset or a flower for years, or enjoy your family, or you working, or you have too many things that you have to keep track of, and you're not living the wealth. You're not attaining what Lakshmi trained me in over many, many years, and her personal trainings with me was what true wealth is. And it's a state of consciousness, and it's a way of being. That's what Queen Fiona is helping us with. And then so key is the Ascension Destiny Code activation by Serapis. And it's to help activate and accelerate the ascension in you and humanity at this very significant time. Now, it's not about ascending and now you get to go to heaven because you were a good little person on your ascension path. It's about ascending back to the true nature, the spirit, the eternal mortal spirit that you are while walking physically in this earth. Because when you leave here, you will be that self, because that's who we are. Especially if you're listening to this call, you came here for this mission. You're an illumined being from the realms of light. And our brothers and sisters like Serapis and others, they stay behind to help support this transformation of the planet. And when we go home, we're going to be back in the realms of light. So it's not about purifying yourself to be good in the eyes of a deity that is displeased and you've been found wanting and you have to suffer to pay back your sins and purify yourself through adversity. No, it's cleansing and healing the programs that cause the adversities. That is the purification we're being called in today, which is the inner alchemy, a sacred alchemy that accelerates our path of the ascension. So Serapis comes in, and it's, once again, that activation is a major cleanup. Then there's the violet ray ascension activation by Archangel Zadkiel, Holy Amethyst, his beloved, and violet ray angels and other ones from the realms of light. And this, as many of you know, the violet ray is the highest vibratory ray. It's a joyous ray, and it is purifying beyond belief. And so when you anchor and you activate that by playing it in this earth plane, you're doing a great global service. So just playing these for your community, for your family, for your home, you're raising the whole vibration of the planet and helping the violet flame come in and sweep through and heal it all the way to the causal levels of these human programs in the psyche, and doing a big cleanup, and as all of these do. So then we have the light victorious activation by Mighty Victory and his legions of light, and white fire activation by Alpha and Omega. It's this hugely transfiguration to be in that white fire. Then we have the Sacred Alchemist book, Alchemical Keys to the Ascension. I'll just read a little to you because it'll give you the essence. The life of the sacred alchemist is a mystical path, a grand adventure as mastery is gained and the highest potential attained. Life becomes so much more glorious than ever imagined when the art of sacred alchemy is incorporated and all adverse conditions are transformed. It is a sacred journey where a high destiny is won and where every dark night gives way to a glorious new potential. In this book, masterful alchemical keys are given that allow life to be lived so richly and where great fulfillment is realized, an abundant life where the bountiful gifts of spirit weave their magic into our sacred destiny and purpose for being here. Everything makes sense as the deepest aspects of our divine nature is unveiled. Like a treasure hunt in the deep jungles of the human psyche, jewels beyond price are retrieved as the human self is transformed. It is then we can partake of the majesty and grace of a benevolent kingdom, seeing with new eyes and living in our truth, the blessing of which is a never-ending treasure trove of sacred experiences. As we enter the new reality, everything changes and the world around us transforms. The future becomes brighter and all challenges resolve. This is a hero's journey to the most sacred part of the self, a trek ancient ones walked before us to attain the illumination that enlightened the world. This is a path unique to each one, a sacred tryst with our illumined self, to bring our most sacred offerings to an awakening world, unveiling the inner truth that is the greatest treasure of all. I hope you will all get this if you can relate, because it's beyond words what takes place, what I've seen in the mastery trainings, what happens to people as we read the keys every day and we feel the shift. It's powerful. Then I have these most beautiful songs straight from my homeland in the heavens. They're all keyed and coded with divine matrices and new archetypes for this new millennium and a golden age. And so much healing takes place when you play it. So I wove these songs with the music of Bruce Beckvar, and who's very well renowned multi-instrumentalist, and other incredible musicians play on the songs. We have the shaman Tito La Rosa on the Andean panpipes, a gypsy violinist, Don Lax, and others. And so echoes of eternity, healing music for an awakening world. And it's really a beautiful thing to add in your self-actualization program, which you can do for 1 week, 33 days, 6 months, 1 year, however, you feel using all these things. So you use these things to support yourself. You're playing the music in the background in your home to keep your vibration of your life, your home, your business at a higher state. You're listening to activations and daily transfiguring. You're opening the book and reading alchemical keys that keep your consciousness keyed to the highest vibration. And then I had a wonderful, amazing experience in the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza. I was there with facilitating the Sacred Alchemist group in December 2015, and we got to be there for 2 hours at Giza by ourselves at the plateau. And in the King's Chamber is where the sacred song came in, and it's a cappella, reverberating through the pyramid, picking up all the frequencies, the ancient echoes of all that's gone on there, and the powerful aspects of that pyramid, and pouring all that energy in through this song. So this, again, completely can just up-level in a minute flat your vibration in your home. If you're having an argument with someone or feel irritable, put it on, or the other healing music. It's amazing how fast we can shift consciousness with it. And then I included the Sacred Song story so you understand what happened to me and how these songs came forth. It's a really remarkable story and a really good love story, too. And then you've got the Quest, Heal Your Life, Change Your Destiny ebook. That book is the Sacred Alchemy process I developed as a self-healing system that you can do for yourself and keep on this vast path of acceleration, self-discovery, self-empowerment, and self-awakening and realization. So if you want to clear fast, it's a method that as you master it, you will come into being able to do it really, really fast. And I included the Quest 7-step healing technique, the audio as well, because it gives you really a lot of the key information in the book that you're listening to, so a different way to receive it. And track 10 will take you through, actually, the 7 steps. And a lot of people love that. They just listen to the next step, pause it, and then write out in their healing journal or do an inward process with it. And then I've got a really exciting book for you, Earth 2012-33, The Ultimate Quest. It was my first book. It was award-winning, and it is power-packed with who you are, what you're doing here now, what's happening, why all the dire potentials, what the future looks like, and a lot of evidence around that. And I bring in the Quest as a remedy for a world in transition. So it gives it all to you. It really helps you understand what's going on. And now, guess what, Durva? You're going to be really happy about this. I included Journey into the Future 2012 to 2033. I recorded that trip to the future, and I was divinely commissioned to release it to the world. And now all of you guys can follow my hypnosis journey. You can listen and you can get it transferred to you as if you're experiencing it. People have been really changed by that. So many people have told me they're never the same because, like I said, what happened to me, all the weights, all the burdens, all these subconscious fears of, oh my God, is what's going to happen next? Are we going to have a global crisis? Is the world going to fall apart? Are my children, going to starve? What's going to happen next? And of course, we know from the daily news, we're getting bombarded daily, so that most of humanity that are listening to all that just feel like they're in a war zone, even when they're not. It's like, welcome to Nightmare Planet. Well, welcome to Paradise Planet. Let's focus in on where we're going, and then, as we're called, help clean up the mess. So that's that one. And I think that was the most life-changing journey of my life. Then the Soul's Journey was another divinely commissioned one where the Divine Ones wanted me to go to the realms of light and report to all of you the preparation, embodiment, and destiny on earth that souls undergo, and talk to you about your group, your soul group, which I call you, us, the violet souls, because we're so focused on personal and planetary transformation, which is a very violet ray action. And so who we are, what we're doing, and why we came, and the difference we're making on earth, and what souls go through from the other side as you're preparing to come in. So that's package A, Durva. What do you think?
Wow. I think that is filled with so much, power and so many, MP3s. So that gets them 7 healing activations. It just sum it up, gives them the Sacred Alchemist, Alchemical Keys to Ascension. The ebook gives you Echoes to Eternity, and the Sacred Song from the King's Chamber, which are the powerful life healing codes. The Sacred Songs from the Realm of Light story. The Quest, which is Heal Your Life, Change Your Destiny ebook. Then Quest 7-step healing technique audio, and 12 to 33 Earth, the Ultimate Quest award-winning ebook, and The Journey into the Future and The Soul's Journey, which is an entire value of $404, which is packed up into this package A for $187 only for the Transformation Show special offer. So people, if you were driven to, listen to these and you're working towards self-actualization, which I think everybody on the call is, then, this is a chance not to miss. It's going to be life transforming and changing for most people on their spiritual path. And Aurora, do you want to tell us a little bit about the package B? So I assume it's everything in package A, plus I think it has your golden ticket to a spectacular 1-hour healing event. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, it probably is going to go over 1 hour, actually. I'm going to do a Sacred Alchemy total life clearing, which I've never done before, for a group. It's going to be a divinely instrumented, orchestrated healing on every level and area of your life, as much as your soul can release, as much as you're ready to step into. And so if you're going to attend this event, you're going to want to spend some time with the prayers, the meditation, writing out your intentions, making a little altar or light a candle. And after this telesummit and all the replays are done, it'll be later in the fall that we will have this event. But it will be many divine ones from the realms of light doing many, many, many things to assist you, from your DNA to your pineal to the chakra clearing to taking off matrices, healing all the scarring, the rivers of sorrow from your past, the unconscious aspects that are weighted down and burdened and creating ill health and financial issues and whatever havoc they're working in life, transforming them. It's big. I do total life clearings for people in a session, sometimes with the Ho'oponopono and adding a lot in. And it's like a major soul surgery and reactivation. This includes activations from the divine as well. That is kind of a dual offering for you, beyond what's been given. And it's a new thing that the divine ones wanted to make available. So this is a brand new offering, straight from the realm of light. It could go 2 hours. It could go 3. It could go 1.5. I don't know how long it'll take to do it all and facilitate it all. But if you want that golden ticket to it, then grab that, because I think it's only like 100 more than the other one, and yet it's a $737 value.
Yes, and so it's priced for $298 only for the Transformation Show listeners. It's the package B, that's $298, which gives you the golden ticket to the total clearing, life clearing with Aurora, which is a massive, massive clearing, and it's like a soul surgery. Like she said, it couldn't get any, deeper than that. So that's really a huge, massive clearing. And so people, if you were thinking about A or B, and if you, you have the options, B, like she said, is only $100 more than the package A, which is at $187. I think that was really, and these packages, as you can see, are filled with lots of value and lots of tools. And, I think it's really like your self-actualization go-to resources, so if you're really on the path and, need resources to help you stay in that state, then this is definitely highly recommended. And
I just calculated it, 111 more. You just pay 111 more, and everything that comes to me goes 100% to this global healing mission. So it doesn't go into my personal bank account. It's all for the mission, that all of these things reach as many people as it's meant for. So when you get these packages, you are you are really supporting this mission. You're supporting the awakening, the global awakening through this vehicle, through all these offerings that they can reach more and more people, and our rehabilitation models, our programs, and everything that we have. So package B, you get it all. You get it all. One more.
That's right.
$7 more. That's kind of funny. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I love the magic of numbers.
Yes, I could tell. 111.
Yeah, 111.
People, if you're driven to, work with Aurora, then this is, the packages are definitely, a must do. A or B. B gives you everything in A plus the, total life clearing from the realms of light. And I think now it's time for us to perhaps work with a few live callers. So shall we unmute? People, just keep your questions brief so that we can work with as many people, and we also have a group process lined up. So I think we could perhaps work with, or how many people do you think you're able to take today as live callers? Shall I just unmute someone, or do you want to get a sense on how?
I'm open. Let's just go with the flow, and because don't worry, everybody. Everybody's going to have a healing through these healings, okay? So if one person gets on and you're saying, oh no, I didn't get to get on and talk with her, don't worry, because whatever somebody's working on, it's going to link up. I'm going to make sure it links up through all of our psyches, all of our similar programs and belief systems and aspects will be healed at the same time. So we're all going to get the healing that those brave souls that come forward and share their woes, whoever comes forward, and we're doing the healing, they will be paving the way for all of us and humanity, our loved ones, our families, to be healed today.
Wonderful. So I think I'm going to unmute somebody from Selden, NY. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Aloha.
Hi. Hi, Aurora.
Where are you?
It's Randy, and I'm in New York. And yes, we worked together before.
Hawaii. You don't sound like you're in New York. You sound laid back and relaxed, like as if you were sitting on a beach in Hawaii.
That's right. I was about to say, my God, that was not New York energy at all, Randy.
No. How do you do that?
I'm learning to heal MS, so it's not like I can get up and go out and chase dollars like the rest of us.
So how can we help you?
Aurora, you helped me before, and your monthly thing offering is really nice. I've been sourcing a better quality of orange prana as of recent, and it shows up like as a prana healer. I'm pretty familiar with orange, but I've been asking and invoking and meaning to be more empowered and have more clarity and awareness below my heart. This level of orange prana that I brought in recently is more shimmery gold and like it's got a rainbow luminescence to it, kind of like that orb picture I sent you a while back.
Andy,
can you help me?
Have you tuned into a Buddha that you're working with? Have you connected? It's like you. I'm seeing like a golden Buddha or a golden being. A golden being.
Yeah, it's definitely. And
yeah.
It is.
So
in addition.
He's really been helping you a lot. So what has been the shift in you since you've been receiving that?
I feel like I'm moving forward with everything below the heart, clarity and healing. I still have MS and a spinal injury I'm learning to heal. I wonder if you could take a look at the spine and moving the energy. I'm moving the energy up too, like tantric healing. Being able to move the energy up and out my heart like a headlight and out the top of my crown like the Taurus. I think that's the most rejuvenative experience in the human condition.
You're doing such a good job. I mean, seriously, your dedication and your commitment to your healing and transformation. And for those that aren't clued in, Randy contacted me some time ago and had a healing with me. And, yeah, this is a remarkable soul that's dealing with a big, big, big thing and breaking through the barriers and out of the impossible situation and what many others might deem incurable or unchangeable, and he's freeing himself. So I'm so glad you chimed in, because there's an aspect of yours up today in the unconscious, and he's got a lot of linked up with others similar in your psyche, and it is an old karma pattern from another life and a self-punishing aspect from false beliefs from that other time. As you know, in the last 2,000 years, there was a lot of mythology about, we have to pay for our sins and we're bad and this, that, and the other. And then we get into these self-punishing beliefs, and then they keep running even beyond what would have been a good punishment, maybe. Punishment's good at all, but I mean, it's kind of overkill. In this life, it's snowballed into that, your condition. And so here's another piece to the puzzle. And as you know, it's piece by piece we take these locked-in conditions and we can free ourselves, like I've freed myself from 2 incurable illnesses so far, and help people with deformities, transform them, and all kinds of things. Abuse cycles for 60 whole years going on, and then they get on a different track and bring in a beautiful mate. So I just want to share, nothing's impossible here. Everything's changeable. And so I always, along with all these activations and blessings and light, it's always essential to work at these core levels in our psyche, because in thousands of cases, 100% of the time, I traced every adverse condition we're ever dealing with, any illness, relationship, financial, career, back to the psyche, back to these subconscious parts of us that are holding in beliefs and programs that are then getting mirrored in our outer reality. So in Randy's case, and those of you that are linking up with this, there's I'm seeing like a elderly woman with a big condition. There's a lot of healing going on for everyone, even if you don't have a really intense physical condition you're dealing with. Don't worry. The healing's flowing. It's been flowing since before this show for you. So everyone's been receiving a lot of blessings up to now. Okay, so Randy, this aspect of you is self-punishing. Of course, that'll seem strange to your conscious mind because you're not like that at all. He was determined to make you pay and suffer for the past, to redeem himself and to resurrect himself into a dignity and an honor code that he once had, and he felt he lost in this other embodiment. And so he's been going about it in a very hard way. And yet I think it's given you a lot of learning, growth, advancement, and refinement of your character. Now he's ready to release the old beliefs and to not work against you anymore, but to work for you, because he wants you to live an honorable life. and be in the sanctity of your dignity, your ethics, your illumined self, and be responsible and like a loving caregiver, a loving caring person, caring for others, not selfish. So I think selfishness or whatever, greed, avarice, whatever happened in the other embodiment, obviously you're not like that in this embodiment. That this is what I find from all the inner aspects I help people clear, all this punishments going on and on and on in all these horrific ways for all of us from something that happened way in the past, and beliefs that were taken on, and then this momentum, this will to then suffer to be redeemed. And that's why we have so many adversities on this planet, and that's why suffering is the prevailing theme on planet Earth. So that's getting healed right now on the deepest levels. All forms of suffering, all aspects contributing to suffering, all saint matter patterns that mean to be purified and spiritual, that you must suffer to be redeemed and purified. Okay, so that's linking up through all of you. We're all carrying this. And throughout the planet, and in Randy, this aspect, healing 10,000 aspects in you that have been contributing to your condition. All that golden light that's been coming in is helping activate these parts. The more the divine recodes us and brings in the light, the more these aspects come up that need to be transformed. So just remember that when you're attending these things and you're listening to activations, it's triggering up things for you to transform. And a lot gets transformed in the healings, but then there's also the off times where we need to be doing the sacred alchemy work and tending masterfully to our inner aspects and choosing to transform them and not play it out anymore. Okay, so you should start feeling different. You should be feeling different now, Randy. He's transforming. He's still in the transfiguration right now. How are you feeling right now?
It was more intense before, and now it's more settled. Like I could feel a shift where, like surface tension. I could feel surface tension in my sushumna, and
in your what?
A radiant sushumna, my central channel. I felt it.
Is the channel the right? Yeah.
Sushumna. I felt it expand and the tension and like surface tension, and now it's more normalized. Like I know that's kind of an advanced concept for many, but when you do soul integration, you learn to feel yourself inside your body as a soul. Those terms are relevant. So I felt
I never
it
heard it in that name before. Right now, I'm seeing I'm seeing that channel of light through all your chakras and bathing through brain chemistry, your spinal cord. What's interesting is that the base of the spine, there's like this locked-in area. It's like a immovable, locked-in place. And just tuning into that to see if there's any more aspects or any other piece to that, or if that can open up now and unlock. Okay, so your aspect's ready to stand tall, ready to step forward and be free, ready to walk the noble path on this earth. He's all about forward movement and that dignity, honor, integrity, all those high aspect male qualities. Yeah, there's just a line of light from the divine realms going specific, coming right in and working on that, cleansing everything, but like direct beam to that point in the sacral area. So has that been the point, one of the areas that have been giving you trouble?
It's, lower spine, everything below the heart has just been like a near-death experience for a couple of years. And you've helped me take a couple of steps, big steps, monumental healing steps forward. Thank you for being you. I bow to other people's opportunity.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Well, that's going to keep going for you, Randy, and everybody. I'm just so grateful to be a vessel. But, as I told you before, you're the healer of you, and you're pulling it in, You put yourself on this call. You've aligned yourself. You got in touch with me, and we've gotten a session, and it's you healing you. I'm just a vessel, and I happen to have some power-packed little things in my bag, like Felix the cat, if anyone ever watched that show. He always could fix things, I always had the bag ready with, that was like my favorite cartoon as a child. And now I have my bag with really good stuff for everything.
Cool tools.
Cool tools. I got some cool power tools. I had to walk every Mount Everest and leap off cliffs in faith and undergo every horrible thing on the planet to have these tools. But they're all highly polished and the best they can be. They're just jewels. So all well worth it, I guess, in the end.
Bye for now, Randy. Disconnecting you for now and unmuting somebody else from South Kamloops. Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Where is South Kamloops?
It's in British Columbia, Canada.
Okay, how exciting. From one coast to the next, we're helping everyone in America today.
It's beautiful. Yes, and I've heard Randy call in before in different shows, and neat to hear. Sorry, I knew I'd be nervous. It is a challenge for me to call, but I relate. Your sensitivity and to all the host. Sorry, I knew this would happen. I'm trying not to be so nervous.
You know what? You're doing great. You're very eloquent. And you have an amazing, beautiful heart. And I can't wait to see what package you're bringing for us to unlock and transform.
Well, your words along the way were encouraging. I feel what I'm feeling. I wanted to share this with myself out loud and in a place where there's some these loving souls that understand. And as you, Aurora, and you were speaking earlier about, other people understanding you and the challenge in life when you're a little bit, the mainstream people kind of have their own world of consciousness and way of doing things. And I've felt since I was a child that there's more of that inner feeling, heart felt the world could be better, but not in a way that I'm not trying to fix it, but just almost feel like I came from a place that was different. Like I just have something, but I don't know how. I'm not saying I know how to fix anything, or I'm not wanting to fix. I'm babbling. Anyhow, I just have this sensitivity.
I love where you're from. You're very definitely a violet soul, and in that book, the Earth 2012-33 book, it gives a signature of the violet soul, so you can take that little test. But I'm sure you absolutely are a violet. You come from a very high realm. It's very refined. I'm not seeing exactly like what system or planet it would be in the etheric realm of. It's like from a different system, but in the etheric plane, the realms of light. And it's you're keying me into it because it's really glorious there. There's just peace, you know. It's kind of what I saw in the future, and when I visit the higher realms, it all looks like that. There's no ills there, and there's nothing harmful. Or so, yeah, for you as a soul to come into this world, whoa, from that to here, and that's right. So everyone who's listening to this. This is our dilemma. We came in from that rarefied, beautiful place, and it's been really hard for all of us. And it's really awesome that in this time period we can band together and link up and help each other and be a support and create safety. So everything you've shared has been the typical Violet experience. Stranger in a strange land, come from a beautiful, far-off realm, can't relate. They can't relate to you.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. So that's why I did this. My first step to talk to openly to people in the world. I have had the experience of being hurt, and I also went through, some mental and physical abuse and things. But what bothers me more is not that. It's the holding on. I still am in contact with a relative, of course. Well, not of course, but one of them was my father, right? And that's a mixed relationship, and I do the best I can with it, but it's a reminder. And then the other hurts, but why I called was I don't want to wear the poor me. Some other people still put me in the hurt, poor you, and I don't seem to be growing out of it even after years of letting it pass. I feel like things pass and I'm on. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm moving on. Everything I want to be my own secure. That came out wrong. I feel as my own person, and I just want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sick of it already. Yeah, you're sick of being in the matrix of it. Yeah, because you've done a beautiful job in your spiritual work and your heart and the forgiveness. The final pieces, which are really important to do, is to heal every part of you that suffered through that. So you have this host of subconscious aspects within, and even though you've evolved and made it through and as a survivor, they're still wounded. They're still at those ages. They're still living out of that fear, and you haven't felt totally safe in this world, or that you could really trust, or you could open your heart. And so these aspects are like scrunched down, They're like withered looking, like holding their hands around them, shielding themselves. They're disempowered. And so today, for you and everybody else that's been wounded, abused, people have been mean to you, and I'm sure there's long lists, like my life. I've seen it all too, believe me. When we heal these aspects, it finally becomes like this memory without resonance, like as if you had seen a movie and you're talking about it, or it was like another life. That's how clear we can become and free of it all. And you're on that pathway. Today's healing is helping. We would see as many aspects as we can get healed right now from that, because, it's when you understand things from the higher vantage point, then you can't be in self-pity because it was all perfect, you see. So I think I'm going to read from your Book of Life a little bit to help you understand more of this destiny path, okay?
Yes.
All right, so the aspects are healing right now, so don't worry. The healing's going while I say this to you. And everybody. I can't believe how many aspects are healing everyone. That means we're a group of people that have been royally mistreated at times. We all seem to have it. So,
Aurora, I don't want to interrupt this, but do you think part of what I was wondering is it seems like people like us, for lack of better words, whatever, but if we've come in from a place that was more peaceful and loving, that when we're here we close off. We have to, we don't want to, and we go through the pain of closing off and not wanting to, and then that almost brings on some more worse experience, hurtful experiences. So that's part of why I thought maybe this is for so many more people than myself.
Yeah, that's the mess of it, you see. Like if we don't heal these aspects in us that went through all the wounding and trauma and pain, because, you know, our spirits don't feel pain and they're not in trauma. It's these parts of us that get fragmented and dissociated and wounded and take on beliefs like it's not safe here, and they shut down and they close off. We definitely have a lot of people on this planet living like that and have been like that for millennia, all shut down, not their full potential selves, head down, not radiantly sharing their love and light with all, not trusting. So for us to open up our arms wide in trust of the divine, trust in the beneficence and benevolence of this beautiful world and universe, we have to heal the aspects that are living contrary to that, living contrary to our true authentic selves. So the most important thing I've found on this planet to be doing is we have to heal all this within ourselves. I'll tell you why, because I think it's going to tie in with what's in your Book of Life. Let me just look at your Book of Life really quick here. I want to bring peace to our world in travail. I want to set the standard of a soul who emerges out of a dark night, out of horrific abuse and trauma, to shine her light radiantly in the world. I'm choosing the family line and lineage and experiences that will help facilitate the darkest night I came to endure, so that I can undergo it. So you're right. This is what you were writing before you came, the precepts in your Book of Life, so that I can undergo, or I can take on some of the pain and darkness that people suffer here and understand, and through my compassion and loving, seek to not only find a way out, but to show that way for others. So the mission very clearly is, and I've heard this a million times in a million sessions with people with all these impossible things they've gone through. I mean, like impossible to heal normally, yet now we have the way. Coming in, taking it on, going through the nightmare of it, having it play out or shut down, and more patterns and distrust and personality, warping, and pain that can move into diseases and all that. And the pattern of abuse will create more and more abuse from others and be like a magnet. And then through healing it, standing out and showing humanity there is a way out of the darkness, that by the inner work, by the transformation of self, we can emerge and stand free and illumined and be back, restored to who we are, who we really are. And we don't have to leave embodiment to do that. We don't have to go through an ascension into back to the higher realms to do it. We can do it here. And so that's the traumas right now. A lot of divine ones are at work right now. The Elohim, Alpha and Omega, great cosmic beings right now, archangels and angels, are helping heal abuse, pain, and all having suffered so much againstness on every level in the psyches of humanity right now. And that's the gift you brought today by opening this up for this healing, so that we all can benefit from this and have another increment of all we've endured be transformed. And for those of you that have inner awareness, you might be seeing your inner subconscious aspects, younger aspects of you, rising up now and being transformed and being healed. And as they're healed, the rivers of darkness, the pain, the trauma they've been holding is getting transformed, like light is transforming rivers of darkness. And right now in the psyches of humanity, because all of us are linked up and we're linked up around the world, and we are holding as chalices of healing right now, and we're linked up to the divine realms of light. That is why right now so much healing is able to take place throughout this planet and beyond, actually, to the whole system of worlds, throughout the matter planes. And so many souls are being healed right now because we all came together today, and Durva, through beautiful healing temple here, her beautiful forum opened up this powerful healing we could be a part of and help facilitate and be vessels of today, all of us together. So that light and that healing is going to continue. How are you feeling now?
Oh.
Can you feel it?
Beyond words, yeah.
It's amazing what we're doing all together, all of us. Like we're holding hands across the world, and we're like these lights, and the light coming through our chakras and flowing out to humanity and all the divine ones around us doing a massive cleanup. It's a tremendous gift that you brought in.
Thank you for calling. Thank you so much. And sharing your being the vessel for everyone else. I'm going to disconnect now.
I'm glad I am. I did. I meant. And thank you for being here for me, both of you, and everything and everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye for now. Okay, so I think someone else from Oshawa, Ontario. Hi.
Durva, you're sounding like you're a million miles away. I don't know what's happening with the sound system.
Oh, perhaps I was in that trance-like state before, but can you hear me now?
Yes, it's. May I be able to keep talking? The light is flowing so strong right now.
So, do you have a question? Do you have something for Aurora today?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Is this me that's saying hi?
Yes, it is.
Oh, my goodness. Well, bless my heart. I was just driving away from a horse farm here, thinking, I miss, I don't get on, and my energy was used for whatever. And, hi, Aurora. Hi, Durva. Thank you.
Hello. So you've been with the horses today, and where are you?
The whole time of this call, I was caring for a horse of a friend of mine who's gone to be married. And so, but I bring in certainly horse clan and horse energy, my horse of 17 years, whose name was Merlin, passed away on May 7th. So I've had horse energy all of my life, all around me. So I bring this energy here, this powerful energy to this call today.
Yay, sounds good. Where are you located?
I am in Canada, Ontario, close to Toronto.
Yeah, I love your accent. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't notice it, but it's an accent to me, yeah. It kind of reminds me of like a mystic.
Mm-hmm.
And when I pick up on your energy, it reminds me of something kind of out of Europe in like Ireland, Scotland, England, mystic, priestess. I don't know. It's just such a beautiful. It's just magical. Anyways, I was just enjoying it, and it came in through your voice.
I love that you say that it came in through my voice, because my journey has been all about singing and my voice. And just like my past caller sister that was just on the phone, bless your heart, beautiful. I'm 54 now, and the first 14 years of my life, like so many of us, right, was physically, emotionally, sexually abused, all of that. And I changed the pattern for myself, for my family. I've forgiven everyone. I have beautiful relationships with those who are still here that, were the abusers. But throughout my life, I chose a father that was a singer. I never met him. Then I would sing all of my life. I was singing, and it just makes my heart palpitate just talking about it. And then throughout my life, of course, even though I was singing everywhere and singing with horses, at just before I turned 40, I became a Reiki master, and all my gifts opened, right? So I have many beautiful gifts. And then throughout the journey of healing with my horse, because I had to come back in my body, because I spent a lot of years out of it because it was too hard here in the body. But when I got my horse, I started coming into my body, and then in 2012, after much healing, telesummits, all kinds, right? I made a strong intention, and the John Lennon song came through in 2012. Let it be, imagine all the people. And I wept on the beach where I walk my dogs at. And there was a huge rainbow around the sun. And I'm here to share this with everyone because that was my huge intention on 12/12/12, that my life was not a waste, that I would be used with my voice to assist anyone who ever heard me, whoever was in my spirit group, that would ever get in contact or not, or just be in the energy of somewhere where my energy was, that they would be healed of all that, and that they would feel beautiful, and that they would feel that they could be safely in their body, and anything that comes with healing all of the abuse that I went through and that so many went through. So you say that it's my voice, and now that my horse has passed away, I'm right in the midst of what is called a songwriter's journey, and very soon I will be on stage recording 1 or 2 songs, and here I am. So if anything you'd like to share right now, I send love and light to everyone, first of all. I first heard you, Aurora, on another telesummit a few months ago, and thank you for your life. Thank you, Durva. Thank you, Aurora. Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing for all of us that came together at this time to do this, that we are showcasing the way out of the dilemmas, out of the abuse, out of the suffering, that by our healing we're demonstrating to humanity, and we're walking a code, like new codes into the earth from it, a new vibration and a record that souls can read at inner levels and are aware as more and more of us rise out of the past and demonstrate, being free and then bringing our gifts. So it's amazing, you so perfect in this call that you're sharing your journey as well, that out of the darkness into the light, and through that healing, then bringing your gifts to humanity. And it's interesting, your whole thing when you were talking, I kept having this Gaelic energetic in the mix, and I'm not sure what that's from, like I was saying, it keyed me. I went through your voice, and it took me to those lands, and then it kind of revealed Gaelic, and there's a purity in those songs, the Gaelic songs, of light-filled syllables that are soothing and beneficent to humanity. And let me just tune in a little bit more of why Gaelic, why it's coming in so strong. Well, I'll just say it as it's flowing. Your destiny as a songstress is like the destinies of those of old or in ancient times who, through the pure crystal and vessel or vehicle of their voice, brought in and transmitted healing energies to humanity. And in the most recent history times was the Gaelic. Through that language, it was like a language of light that was so coded. And the Sanskrit is like that, but more ancient. And so there's been some languages that, as the singing and the chants have encoded the world, brought in floods of light and energy into the world. And so through your music and your songs, it is like carrying forward that lineage and heritage, not necessarily that you sing in Sanskrit or Gaelic. It's just that's the lineage of light that you're walking on, of your destiny path. That your purity of heart, like I'm seeing your heart like a crystal, and then your throat chakra like a crystal, and then the beaming light of all the crystals, chakra of your being, just bringing through this light, this message, this light language to humanity through the songs, and reaching a lot of people, and that more people get reached than just the airwaves. Music on the airwaves and radio, as you know, sound transmits out, right, and has its effect in this world. So it doesn't matter if millions hear it, or one person hears it, or just the woods and the rabbits hear it. It affects everybody, and it is a really great offering of your soul to bring this forth in this time.
As you were speaking, I'm just standing near the horse field here, and I'm outside, and the sun's shining through. And here in Canada, I don't know, it's about, I would say about 7 o'clock or so. I've lost track of time, but I close my eyes, and a blueness from my throat just shot out at the top of my head, and it's like I connected to the ethers. As you were saying, they were sending energy to my throat and to my voice. And very beautiful, very beautiful.
Yeah, it's like the activation right now that you're ready now. It's like your initiation activation of go forward, our daughter. We love you. You are a blessing to this world, and know your gifts are great. Know your offering is pure, and know that all will be benefited, and that it's an energetic wave through you and through sound that reverberates and echoes through the universes, and that it's the gift with you singing is beyond what gets in the recording studio, on the audio, into through people's ears. It's every time you sing, that energy goes forth, and like butterflies flying out of your heart, and throat chakra going out, and just flying and blessing many. It's it's an amazing thing. I don't think I've seen this kind of imaging about singing before, but it's really, really beautiful, your gift. It's all divinely infused and ready to have a major impact. And the message I keep getting for you is don't worry what that physical impact will be or the numbers. Just bring out your gift and know it's flowing out through the universes and it's doing its magic.
Wow.
This is magic right now, and I'm just going to take a second and here's some magic for everyone. I sing every day. I'm an earth keeper. My native name is Eagle Songwoman, and I could just cry right now, but here's a gift for everyone specifically on this call, because I was called to this call, and I got hung up on 3 times, and I called back in, and here I am. So here's a gift for everyone. Thank you, Aurora. Thank you, Durva, and here it is.
Oh.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing sound, and that was absolutely awesome.
That's
you
like
have
a flute,
magic.
like a beautiful flute. I wonder if someone just heard that, if they'd know that was somebody's vocals rather than an instrument, like a flute. That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Right, I'm feeling even more happier. How's everybody doing? Happy yet?
Yeah, I think people are really getting into happy mode. And shall we take a few more callers? How are you going, Aura? Do you think we end it here, or are you happy to perhaps engage with a couple of more people?
I'm good to go. At these times, it's endless energy flowing. So
I know. I just check in because I've unmuted somebody. None took it. Hi.
Oh, hello. My name is Kate, and thank you so much for taking my call. I'm actually in Florida right now, and I've been through a lot, and I'm just feeling like a lot of heaviness that wants to release and old sadness and blocks, and I would love help just releasing what's ready to, so that I can step into my highest light and help the world and find love and those kinds of things.
How long have you been aware of this? Is it like newly coming up, or has it been kind of a lifelong thing at different times?
Well, I've had a lot of traumas and difficulties and loss and things in my life, and I really I'm really in the process of shifting that and really trying to heal the deeper aspects that caused all of that, and the patterns and things and the patterns of just a lot of stress, and to really try to step into creating my life in peace and love and service to the world and positive energy people and things.
Have you suffered like depression?
Yeah, in the past, and it feels like that a little bit right now. Just from family things, and I'm just letting go of a relationship that I ended in March. That there's some sadness around that, and just some heaviness that I feel like is ready to be to come for healing, clearing.
When you go through hard things, because there's so much in the past, do you find yourself plummeting kind of deep and dark? Like, do you find...
Yeah, I think my emotions get triggered because of a lot of past hurts and things, like, with the relationship, and he was being a friend, and now he's stopped being a friend, and that probably triggered childhood things of abuse from a father and not a very nice environment and things like that. So maybe they're just patterns that play over, trusting that someone's a good person, but I'm not sure they are. And that kind of people being unkind and things like that.
Yeah, it's like you have a mountain of this accumulation, and everybody does, and it's so important because, up until now we've only been taught, to forgive and try to understand people and do our meditations and all of these things, but meanwhile, it keeps accumulating. And as these subconscious patterns play out and more people play these roles for us and treat us mean, and we have heartbreak and sorrows, it's like finally we're like saddled under this huge mountain. And so every little thing that happens, this mountain gets triggered and we plummet. It's like we go down that hole and we're down in that deep, dark, sorrowful valley of pain. And that's because all of the subconscious aspects, our younger aspects of ourselves, never got to be healed and transformed, and they didn't get to come up to be their full potential selves. And no one has known about this until this century. And now we're the ones that are bringing in this awareness. We have to heal our inner world. We have to heal our psyche. We need to tend to our souls and heal this pain. And that's what this the golden ticket's for. This is the kind of thing that's going to be lifted in that because it's going to scan everybody. We're going to scan everybody from now all the way back to inception, and then even past life stuff, and take these dark mountains that are covering over everybody's happiness. Or even when you're not aware of it, you're not all that happy or joyous or passionate about life, because it's like a weight kind of weighting down that balloon that would want to soar and be happy. And it's a lot of kind of these life-type clearings that are going to be taking place where really dark matrices are going to be lifted, and things that you've just been trapped in that are creating life sentence of suffering for you that are going to be released. So we're going to do a piece of that puzzle right now and see how much can get released from you.
Thank you so much.
I'm being told that beyond this mountain I'm seeing that's getting transformed today, there are more. And that a part of your journey is in doing the inner work yourself, like really delving deeply and accessing the wounded aspects of self and their story and their transformation and the glory of it, like not just getting it lifted off, but also the journey in of self-discovery around it. That is going to reveal a lot of jewels to you of your identity, of who you really are and why you came to do this sacred work and why you're being called to it. So add in the inner work. If you get the package, you'll get the quest, and you'll be able to do that as things come up. It's amazing when we heal these aspects and we find out that we're from the realms of light, and we took this on to heal for our family lines and humanity and be way showers and unlock these jewels and talents and gifts. Like you've got a treasure trove of gifts in this one mountain we're healing today, like latent qualities that you have not accessed yet, and divine magical powers you haven't yet become aware of, and skills and natural talents and knowledge and abilities. Like that's something I think is really important to share with everyone, that people a lot of times don't want to go in the darkness. They feel like they're going to get lost in it all, especially if you've had a lot of trauma and abuse. But if you have the right method, that will transform the aspect every time and not just open it all up and now you have to deal with it, but it doesn't get healed. If you have the right tools like Sacred Alchemy, like TheQuest, it's a journey, a victorious journey of awakening, and it's like taking these coals and turning them back into diamonds and jewels of who you truly are, like accessing more of who you are that's locked down and hidden by all of this. And then as we do all this work, the spirit rises. We are able to live in our authentic self most often as we become really masterful in this art of sacred alchemy, that we can live these joyous lives, even though we might have more valleys and more mountains to clear. We can do it gracefully. We can do it really fast in record time and be back to ourselves in minutes every time. Just like today with these healings, how fast it can all be. I've just done millions and millions of these clearings since I arrived on the planet, so that's why I can do it in, a minute or two. And everyone can learn to do it, and it might take you 40 minutes or an hour in the beginning, but it'll be so exciting. The 7 steps, the questions open up so much, and then you have this transfiguration, and you're in your lumen self. And with all this more knowledge, and at the same time, as we heal this stuff, every time we redial ourselves to a more beneficent future, so that all those subconscious aspects are not going to be creating more messes and more abuse, and keep like being little magnets, keeping drawing every bad person in, just like Julia Roberts said in what was it, Pretty Woman. She was saying her mom had told her she was a bum magnet, drawing in all the bad guys. Well, that's what these subconscious aspects are doing, yet they're not to be reviled and ignored and pushed away, because they could be a 3-year-old part of us, a 12-year-old part of us, a young woman, a young man, if we embrace and love them and help them to transform, then we will realize our full potential. So right now, your inner aspects are all happy about what I just shared. They're all just like, can you feel more happiness? Because they're all just turned happy. It's funny to watch. And then they're ready for their transformation now, They, again, in your destiny path, you have the same destiny that all violet souls do. Like we came in and we took it on. We could have come in enlightened, because we knew that to clean up the earth, we had to do this work. We had to take it on, let it play out, and then transform it, find the way out, and then stand in the earth illumined and free and bring our offerings to the world. I've just heard it a million times, and you're one more, Violet, doing this, so thank you for all humanity. But it's important for all of us to understand what we decided. And I've read in so many people's books of life, all the precepts everyone wrote, it's the same. If you came in at this time and you were a way shower, you took on the patterns to transform them and to step forth illumined in your true authentic self, pave a way for all humanity, and then bring forth the talents that get activated from that transfiguration, bring those out to the world. You have a lot to do in this life. You're going to be helping a lot of people. You have a special gift and a presence and a light. You've been like a little saint, a little angel girl, illumined one, since you stepped foot on earth. So it's going to be really nice to have this big mountain off of you. So that's all getting dissolved now.
Thank you so much.
It's all getting healed, and a lot of sorrow and rivers of sorrow. And again, it's linking up with everybody. So all of us are getting some of the rivers of sorrow in our souls, the pain, the weight, the burden of our past lifted off and cleansed, and our inner aspects healed that have been holding that all in place.
Mm.
So we're getting set free from the matrices that bound us to a lesser reality. We're being freed from the stigma and idea that we're so much less than who we are. We're getting free from a lot of self-pitying and depressed and sorrowful aspects right now are getting transformed. Depression is like a plague laying over humanity, in the psyches of humanity, weighting countless souls down, and there's a big healing now, healing depression, and the Divine Ones are working on everyone's brain chemistry because you have to have it balanced. Otherwise, you do get depressed and all that. And when your brain chemistry is balanced, it's hard to get depressed because it keeps us in a positive state of consciousness, right? So the brain chemistry is really essential in the mix here. And that's why all my students are on brain balancing protocols, and especially with all the stresses and toxins and stuff, it's just important more than ever. All right, how's that feeling?
Much more hopeful and like lighter. Thank you. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Have a blessed day.
Your voice has a smile in it.
Yeah, I feel better, and the sunshine came out, and it feels better. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. Have a blessed day. Bye for now.
That was
Aurora.
fun.
Yeah,
so
I
much
know.
darkness clear. We're like cleaning up so much darkness today. This is really great.
I think everybody brought in some mountains to be cleared, and I think it was amazing because everyone else got their stuff to get cleared as well. So thank you all for bringing your energies to be cleared to the call. And I think that brings us to the end of the call. And I'd say, let's get started, Aurora, with your very special group process which you've got lined up for us.
Okay. It's going to amp up even more, everybody. So if you thought this was wild and fun, we're going to keep going here.
It's getting wilder.
Yeah, it's amping up to another level, but you can handle it because lots of purification, brain balancing, everything's been going on through the whole call to get you ready as vessels of this greater light now. So we're going to bring in the divine more formally in a voice, and how I like to do it is I like to do the prayer, the invocation, and do the formal invite. And then we'll go right into whoever's going to speak with us and whatever's going to happen. If you're driving, if you're crystal clear and you think you can drive through this, go ahead, or pull to the side if you're not. And make sure you're really grounded, everyone, afterwards. A lot of times you don't realize how high you are, and so if you start cooking or doing something, just make sure you drink water afterwards, that you anchor this in. Dura, what are you going to do? Are you going to play music after, anything to help them anchor and set with the energy a little bit? Or does the call just end?
Yes, so we can end with the music after you finish. When you let us know that the process is done, then I can get the outro music on, and then people can stay in that space, I think, for much longer, so we don't have to speak again if that's not required for anyone.
Okay, great. So I just want to thank you so much for having me on, because
Hey, and
afterwards
I
we'll
want to
just
thank
go
you.
quiet. I
Yes,
really
yes.
enjoyed being with you and everyone, and everyone's just
Thank
brought.
you so much for the work that you do. I mean, your life, thank you so much. I mean, you've really helped. You've done so much work in this space, my goodness, and helped change so many lives. So thank you, thank you, thank you for the work that you do.
Well, I'm so impressed today because you all brought huge pieces, like mountains. And everybody in the audience has brought mountains. It's just incredible. And it's a testimony of the times that we're all coming together, and through the inner alchemy, it's all getting transformed. And then we have all this assistance from the hosts of light and the realms from which we've all come. And it's these offerings are the biggest things we can be doing on the planet. Our projects are great. They're all beautiful. Yet this is where the big event is occurring, is in our transfiguration. And so it's so amazing what a gift these telesummits are. And yours especially is such a high vibration, and you've made it as a healing focus. So I really love that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, I'm really humbled by all your wonderful words, and we're all feeling connected, and it seems like we're all doing it together. It's the listeners, the speakers, and us all. It's like working towards the same mission. So I think it feels, I feel blessed doing what I do. And thank you so much for being on my show.
It just feels so great when we all link up, It's just such a happiness that when we find each other. And we all have the movie. We took all this on. We're transmuting it. We're stepping free, increment by increment. We're all on the same ascension path. And we might have been born in different cultures and places on the planet, yet we're all doing this together. And it's just really such a glorious, amazing time we're in. And so if we keep our eyes on these things, if we keep remembering we're all here, we're over 400 million by next year. It's going to even, go way beyond in the next year, because it's catching. Consciousness is catching. We're igniting a world. And if we just keep our focus on this and don't listen to all those dire potentials and everybody that's falling apart, the economy is ready to go, and all these things. No, not on our planet, and not now. We are choosing a different future. And so let's all keep holding for that glorious future and not let any bad thing happen. That's been prophesied. Okay, so this is the way we do it. Inside, transform. Outside, miraculously transfigures in obedience. Okay, that's the alchemy. The divine ones are ready, so here we go, everybody. Tune in, get centered. You can put more prayers forward and intentions right now while I do this prayer. Beloved Father, Mother, divine universal presence, our inner divine selves and heavenly sponsors, we give grateful thanks for the bountiful blessings, healing, and advancement on our paths. We're so grateful for all the gifts today, all the healing, all the light, the activations, the cleansing, purification that is done by divine grace. And we ask now for the release of all programs, patterns, belief systems, matrices, and all that would keep us in darkness, despair, in adversity or challenges, financial distress, ill health. And we offer all of these conditions up to be healed and cleansed for ourselves, our loved ones, our families, for all humanity, all sentient beings, all elemental life. Release us now from every dark matrix, all that would keep us living our full potential selves. Clear us now, let us receive the light and live in that light and be vessels of the holy light under the great divine plan. Free us to be the loving presences that we truly are, and to live in the full knowledge, awakeness, and awareness of our true reality and our destiny in the earth. And we are grateful for all the blessings bestowed, for a golden age on earth, heaven on earth. And we give grateful thanks these things are done in accordance with divine will and the highest good of all. O precious ones, the glory of your presence with us today is awe-inspiring. For we who come from realms of light to join you in a sacred tryst are in awe and in so much gratitude for the offerings you have brought to this holy, sacred temple that has allowed such a vast clearing and healing today across many lands and many nations and in the souls of this humanity. You are the front-runner souls who have come to earth at the significant time for the one sole purpose, and that is to birth an age of light. And by ending the reign of darkness, by the alchemy that you weave within your soul, by the transfiguration of self back to your true identity, so does the world change around you. So is a new future born unto the earth. So is a golden age brought into physical manifestation. When you become a sacred alchemist, beloved, when you masterfully clear the shadow aspects as they arise, when you bring yourself every blessed, light-filled substance, music, and everything that would nurture and help restore, replenish, and revitalize you, you ignite that spirit within to unfurl its glory within you and to take command of your life and destiny and bring its sacred offerings to this world. How powerful it is when you deliver unto yourself the self-care and the self-loving that is lacked in this humanity for eons of time, and that through giving yourself that quality time and attention and care, by clearing the way in your psyche and transmuting darkness into light, so you rise into the glory of your full potential self. And that self can do more in 1 minute than you could do in 1,000,000 years of human efforting. If you understand the power of this divine persona within, this indwelling spirit, you would stop everything and you would give it room in your life to be fully present and manifest all that it would bring forward in this time. Do you see what a different reality it is than what you have been taught up until now? With all the striving, all the workloads, all of the projects and the daily tasks, all day long, every day, taking your attention away from the one glorious light within that would radiate its presence in this world that would be unfurled in its full glory and manifest its reality in and through you, charging your whole vehicle, this vessel, this body temple with light, purifying, rectifying, and making every single thing in your consciousness, being, and worlds right. This is where your true power lies, beloved. This is the power within that can make all things right. This is where you must turn to and align with and follow unfailingly if you would walk your high destiny path and fulfill all your vows in coming to earth at this time. And how? How do you manifest that self in all its glory? How can you bring it into a more present physical reality and a conscious awakeness within you? It is by clearing everything that arises that would take your attention and move your energies away from this self and transmute it in record time, so that through that transfiguration you keep garnering more and more jewels of self, allowing yourself to become a treasure trove of divine qualities that you have unearthed through the inner sacred alchemy work, that you have uncovered and excavated as you've sought this self that is your true identity, so that you can know the full beingness that you know in the higher realms of light, in its array of divine qualities so rare and so precious that they are beyond any jewels of this earth. Know that we stand with you, and that today we have assisted to awaken within you this living flame, this white fire being who you are, your illumined spirit that would radiate its light, its love, its wisdom, and bring its offerings to the world. A divine plan cannot be fulfilled by a human self, a human soul striving to bring out a worthy offering. The divine plan can only be filled by the divine self, beloved. Remember this. The divine plan for your life can only be fulfilled by your divine self. So if you want to be in alignment with your plan and you want to fulfill your highest destiny, you must be in your authentic self. And that is very possible in a high percentage of the time, as our beloved Aurora has demonstrated. It is when you gain the mastery of working with the psyche and healing the aspects of self that you are able to sustain in that divinity most of the time. And you can attain this level of mastery that the sacred alchemists of old had claimed for their own lives as well. It is an art and it is a way to walk one's highest path that can be walked on this planet under the great divine plan. For to align with that plan and to be a part of that plan, you must be in your divine self. So let the human selves rise and all these aspects of self be healed today. Release, beloved, all that you are ready to release from the folds of your garment, from the depths of your psyches now. Are you ready to let go of the sorrows of the past, the resentments, and the upsets that you've carried till now? The false beliefs you've held about yourself as being ineffectual or not good enough or not enough. Let it be over now, beloved. Let the aspects go into the healing chambers now and be transformed. And as they are transfigured, feel the change within your soul as the light of your divine presence radiates out from within you, blessing this world like radiant suns with rays of light so far-reaching, ever blessing, ever healing, raising, and uplifting. You came for this purpose. It is your destiny, beloved, to stand in the earth free, an illumined present that is a vehicle and vessel of a great light. And all together forming a grand tankarana of light that allows even a greater healing to take place. I, Mother Mary, come from the Rose Temple of Divine Love, in the tradition of the ancient priestesses and oracles who brought messages forward from the realms of light, activations and initiations through our temples in Egypt and the Isis temples that did cover that region of the world. I come to claim in the earth the victory of the feminine light that is rising in each one of you, that she may live in the dignity of her divine authority on earth once again, and her voice be heard, her presence be known, and the illumined actions take place in her wedding with the divine masculine in this earth. Feel that balance within you, male, female, now in its risen form, and know the past is complete and behind you. Gain mastery with the tools we've given forth and the knowledge and alchemical keys, beloved. New codes have been activated within the DNA that will help you remember who you are and be free of all the human clamoring for your attention, the human momentums, the human drives, the human beliefs, and the human thoughts and emotions. You will now have a greater sustainment in the light from this day forward. Yet you must continue diligent on the path of your ascension, understanding that there is great work still to be done. And as we come forth and give our activations and assistance from the realms of light, you do your part, using the sacred alchemy we have given forth today. And all together this world will change so quickly, for the molecules are now spinning at such a high velocity and high vibration. The whole world has raised in the next density, the next dimensional reality. The future is not even the same as it was before we all came together, beloved. This is the power of sacred alchemy. Know and understand the sacred office, that as you come to these forums, as you come to receive and partake and participate, that it is like the mystery schools of old in the ancient temples where I once served. Know that Many divine ones are with you. You have never been and you never will be alone here on earth. And now the secret love star activation is taking place, and you can feel that in your third eye, activating your pineal. This is helping link you up to your homeland in the higher realms and bring remembrance of your divine lineage, that you may walk at this earth with greater dignity in who you truly are. Peace be with you, beloved. Know a great work has taken place today, and let yourself integrate and anchor the light over the next weeks, as it has been a very powerful healing and a very, very powerful activation and recoding. Blessed ones, we of the realms of light bring great tidings for the future. Partake of the journey we took Aurora on, so you can understand how momentous a time you're living in and the great direction masses of souls are moving in now to bring in this new enlightened world. Trust in the divine in you to always guide your way, and know we are ever with you unto the end. Blessings, beloved. Blessings.
Mm.